I originally saw these battles on the Armenian King's channel. I'll link to him in the description. It's between the Armenian King and Greek Iraklis. Now, after the first battle, I knew I had to watch them and upload them myself. The Armenian King uploaded them in Russian, which is entirely watchable. You can understand what's going on, but I really wanted to take a closer look at these battles myself because they were great, absolutely great. So for Armenian King here, I predicted when patch 2 came out, after testing different things, that Noble Germanic would now replace Germanic Horsemen. It was fairly obvious, and it looks like that has happened. We have 6 Noble Germanic Horsemen here. They are supported by 2 Horse Slayers on each flank. Might be excessive, but we'll see. Then we have 2 Godens men. In the center we have a Germanic Noble. Then we have 4 Germanic Archers in the center and 2 Scaled Clubmen. Extremely tanky units. For Iraklis we have we have a mix of Germanic Archers and Germanic Bows. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I've never seen this many archers used before, I think. We have 7 archers, and I believe we have 4 Germanic archers and 2 Germanic bows. He is commanding the Saxons, by the way. No, the Burgundians, I mean. And then he has Burgundian axemen, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Burgundian axemen, and 1 Burgundian guard general. He has 6 Burgundian royal lancers, so a very nice composition from Iraklis, a mix of pure shock and definitely the infantry support to go with it. This combination of shock cavalry and shock infantry is extremely deadly, because you'll do massive casualties to enemy cavalry on the charge with the royal lancers, and the Burgundian axemen, when they come in, they will clean house. They will destroy horse slayers, and this is one of the reasons why the Burgundians, if the Burgundians are able to play their own game, are better than all of the other long-beard DLC factions, because they can do something none of the other factions can do, and that is an insane amount of damage on the charge, almost obliterating units instantly with both shock infantry and shock cavalry. They are very fragile though. There isn't a single unit in Greek Iraklis' army that is able to stand well up to skirmish fire, although you'll notice that the royal lancers do get a shield value and a missile block chance. There are a few other cavalry units that also do this, but Greek Iraklis is in the position now of having both the infantry advantage and the cavalry advantage on the charge, that is, and the skirmish advantage. So Greek Iraklis can be content to stay at range here, and it looks like Greek Iraklis' plan here is to take care of the skirmishers of Armenian King, so that Armenian King doesn't have anything left to skirmish down his shock infantry and shock cavalry units, which is a good idea. And you'll see both players, they're not using loose formation here, not really using spaghetti either, but a fairly narrow formation. And the Germanic bows and the Germanic archers aren't getting that many kills here. Flaming shot is anti-cavalry. I would perhaps have liked to see standard shot being used here, or even precision flaming, and after that standard or heavy shot. Flaming underperforms compared to those, but it doesn't... Heavy would be nice, but against Germanic archers that basically don't have armor, it doesn't matter that much actually. And here comes the engagements on both sides, it seems. Going into wedge now is Armenian King, which is a good idea. Let's see if it saves his noble Germanic horsemen. They get wrecked on the charge, which melee cavalry does. Very nice micro there by Armenian King. The issue though that Armenian King has is that Armenian King's horse slayers are further behind than the axis of Greek Iraklis. So when these axes rush in, you'll see them start to get kills extremely quickly here on the noble Germanics, and all of the noble Germanics of Armenian are wavering. They are breaking. He just wasn't there in time with his support, and although these royal lancers are dying now, An Armenian King did a good job in using his wedges. The support that is incoming now for the Burgundian axemen will just tear apart the cavalry and should tear apart the horse slayers. The royal lancers are going to die, but both and the Godens men also just getting destroyed. Burgundian axes are, in my opinion, their price is just perfect in terms of cost efficiency. Compared to what you get for horse slayers, with axemen you get a unit that can both destroy enemy cavalry and infantry, and a decisive defeat there for Armenian King. It's extremely difficult to deal with a Burgundian army like this that has both the skirmish advantage, the cavalry advantage, and the infantry advantage. It's very hard to tie down all of these lancers. It's very hard to deal with all of these axemen. You can see their kills here are very good, and very smart composition here by Greek Iraklis in bringing this many skirmishers to soak up the inevitable fire from the Langobards. And I'm sure the Armenian King has tested this particular Langobard build quite a bit. In my opinion, fighting against the Burgundians is going to be about tying down their units and stopping them from getting their charge bonuses. So what I would like to see in particular was, instead of Godens men, and we can have a look at let's have a look at the build. Build that would be a particular anti-Burgundian. Now, the Burgundian build that Greek Iraklis brought is, in my opinion, a fairly essential Burgundian build. So what you need to do when you are fighting the Burgundians, you need to have enough infantry to stop and blob them up. Of course, 6 normal Germanic horsemen are a given. Then we have the different. I probably would go for the redoubtable chieftain over the Germanic nobles, just for the increased survivability this unit has, and go for the brace. Now the problem is, though, you can't get your noble Germanic horsemen charged. You can't get your Langobard clubmen charged. So what are you going to do against the Burgundians as the Langobards? Well, you are at a disadvantage. And with this particular setup, now you have 7 more army slots available. So you know that the shock cavalry is going to be followed up by shock infantry. And that means that when you get your horse hewers into the fight, sure, they're going to do a lot of damage to the enemy shock cavalry. However, they are also going to get wrecked by Burgundian axes. So you need something to deal with that. Now, going for quite a lot of Germanic archers is a good idea, I think. Maybe even 6. And you can see that there are quite a lot of funds remaining here. So you could upgrade the scaled clubmen so that you have 6 scaled clubmen, and then you could go for some upgrades on your cavalry units, make them a bit sturdier. Also some upgrades on the infantry. The first upgrade is the most cost efficient. However, the thing with this army, though, is that it's a bit defensive. Now, the scaled clubmen go into shield wall and hold for hopefully hold for a long time, while the archers rain concentrated death upon the enemy shock cavalry. And once the enemy, the thing with the Burgundian army, if you deal with the shock cavalry, you have basically won. And I'm going to assume that there's a 6 cavalry maximum in this fight, because both players brought 6 cavalry units. So the scaled clubmen are quite unique in that they are one of the units that, let's see here, for the Burgundians, they are one of the few units that cannot get one-shotted on the charge by Burgundian axemen. So they have 20 bonus against infantry, plus charge bonus 80, plus 56 melee damage, so that is 136 damage potentially on the charge. And you can see that is actually not enough to kill, to insta-kill a scaled clubman. So the Scaled Clubman can, when he then activates his, when he has his shield wall activated, he will get the 30 bonus. Now on the charge, it's not going to go particularly well for the Scaled Clubman, but it's going to buy the Scaled Clubman just a bit more time to hold than the, let's see here, than the Langobard Clubman. The Langobard Clubman will potentially get one-shotted on the charge. So it's definitely a tall order for the Langobards. Now I'm not saying that this army would certainly work better than what Armenian King did, because I'm not entirely sure it would. The problem is you're outmatched in cavalry, you are equal in skirmishing, but you are outmatched in infantry, in that these Scaled Clubmen are much poorer at supporting cavalry fights than the Burgundian Axemen, and the Burgundian Axemen will wreck Scaled Clubmen on the charge. So it's a difficult situation for the Langobards, for sure, if you don't just want to hide behind pikes and skirmish. But I think a player that does what the Greek Iraklis did, in just ensuring that he would have enough ranged units to waste most of the ammo on the enemy ranged units, so they wouldn't be able to support cavalry fights, and then having the power to just rush and destroy an enemy army. I think that was a very good choice by him. So this battle was very short. It looked like the Armenian King conceded there at the end, and I completely understand him, because there wasn't much he could do at the end there. But a great battle by both players. Iraklis just had the stronger build. Armenian King would have needed to attain god level of MLG to be able to defeat that build from Greek Iraklis, I think. But we have a few more games from these two great players. So let's see how they do with other faction matchups. Strength and honor.